Hey guys, today we're doing a Delve node tier list for Path of Exile 3.21 Crucible League. I'm a big delver. I love delving, and I think sometimes delve gets the stereotype of being a not very profitable farming strategy in early league start or mid league or anything like that. I think it's completely untrue. I just think there's a lot of misconceptions about exactly what the nodes do and how you can make the most profit out of them. So we're gonna go through the tier list. We're gonna rank all the nodes, and hopefully by the end of it, you're gonna know where you need to path in delve to make the most amount of currency. Um, just as a qualifier here, the way we're going to be judging the nodes is mostly based on time efficiency. Unlike a lot of other farming strategies, in Delve, you really need to pick, what nodes you're going to, because the more time you spend doing one node, that's less time that you're looking for other nodes or doing better nodes. So each node has an opportunity cost. So we're going to be judging these nodes based on not only the rewards they give, but how much time you're going to spend doing them. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. We're going to be starting with the green cities, the abyssal cities, and I'll throw in the valve cities as well. These guys are going to be put in A tier, okay? Cities, great places to go. They are very, very fast. You run to the node, you go down into the city, and it's just picking up a bunch of chests. And you can get all sorts of things in here. You can get maps, you can get currency, map items, jewels, fractured items, all sorts of great things. And the best part is it takes almost no time to do. You run down there, you get the stuff, you get out. Very, good rewards always, even if not every city node is a jackpot. Sometimes you just only find, one offering of the goddess or whatever. It's okay because you just ran down there, you grabbed it, you get out. Very quick to do. So always go to these cities, when you can. Next up, we have Abyss. I'm going to put this in D tier, guys. Do not do Abyss nodes, whatever you do, because these things, they don't take that much time. But, the reality is your rewards are usually going to be things like eye jewels, which are, not a consistently profitable thing, I find. You might get a Stygian really here or there, but it's rarer than you think. And usually you have to go out of your way to do these nodes. You're not usually pathing through them. Normally you're kind of going specifically to them. And why would you do that when you can look for cities or look for better nodes? So Abyss, I would say avoid these, at all costs. Next up, we have the Azurite nodes, and I'm going to put them a little bit differently here. So we're going to have tiers 1 and 2 in B and tier 3 in A. So as you guys know, Azurite is a big farming strategy in Delve to farm, especially in Deep Delve. If you've got a character that can go down to 500, 1,000, really in that, level range, Azurite farming is super worthwhile. These nodes will give you lots of Azurite, which you can use, to buy resonators from Nico directly. The smallest ones that cost about 300 a piece. Currently, as of the time of this video, you can sell about 130 of these for a div. So definitely worth doing. They do take some amount of time. So that's why, tier 1 and 2 is probably not the most efficient, use of time. Tier 3, though, really rewards a lot of Azurite. Very worth doing. It does take a lot of time, but the Azurite payout for these things is huge. So definitely, worth doing. You're never sad going to an Azurite node. It's pretty much just straight, profit every single time. Next up, we have Bestiary node. Definitely D tier as well. Guys, Bestiary mods, right? I'm not sure the last time I've even seen a good, POB that's saying, oh yeah, you really need this Bestiary mod. They're just not really great to get on items. Even if you fracture them on, it's still just, it's not great. I guess technically you have a chance to like drop a Farrell's Fur or something. I believe I've heard of that happening. It's never happened to me, but this is not it, guys. Do not go to these nodes. All right, the profit is not there compared to other nodes. Next up, we've got Beyond. I would put this in like F tier if I could. I wish I made another tier down here, guys, to put Beyond, because this is probably one of the worst nodes in Delve. It takes a ton of time to do. It's extremely hard compared to other nodes. It just spits out so many rare mobs at you, and then you have to fight a Beyond boss. And then after you do that, it drops 2 tainted blacksmith's whetstones that are worth a total of 0.2 C, right? So do not go to these nodes ever. It's complete, it's complete trash. Even at the high end payout, if you get a lot or like really, good tainted currency, I mean, the amount of time you spend doing it when you could be doing other things just makes this completely not worth. Physical. This is physical items. I'm gonna put this in B tier. It's not amazing, mostly because a lot of and we'll get to this in looks like a couple minutes. The elemental nodes that drop, cold items, fire items, whatever it is. Tend to just have better mods. Really, the only good thing that can drop here is, if you hit an insane combination of mods on like a, two-handed axe or something. Oh my god, it's big. It's a bone shatter axe. But you kind of have to get really lucky for that. Occasionally, you can get some, cute fractures that can pull, some amount of money. Um, it's okay. It's not bad. You're not sad going to these nodes, but there are definitely lots of nodes that give, more consistent profit, and we'll be getting to those in a second. Next up, we've got the bosses, starting with the Abyss boss. Yeah, the Abyss boss, guys, do not go to this boss. I mean, even if you're really happy, you've got a character that can kill bosses. You're like, I'm gonna just kill this guy. He just doesn't drop anything that's good, guys. I mean, he's got the rings, that drop 15C, but really, it does still take some time to kill this guy, and the drops are just not good, right? Just really, really not good. Oftentimes, this guy's in behind hidden walls. So you have to like hunt him down, find him. You're doing all of that for really, not a lot of profit. So I would probably just completely ignore this guy every time you see him. All the Crystal King, the big daddy of Delve, absolutely S tier, absolutely the best node in the game. Guys, you cannot be leaving all on the table if you are profit farming Delve, okay? This guy is known for dropping the huge, big All's Amulet, okay? The All's Amulet, everyone knows about it. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. All's Amulet, these things go for insane amounts of money if you hit the right mod. I believe Envy right now is like 23 div. Sure, you can also sell them unidentified. Um, you can make, about a couple div a pop on those. Okay, when you ID them, you are gambling. Technically, yes, you could hit, some, not really great aura, and it's only worth 20C. But the high end potential, if you're hitting hatred, determination, envy, these big malevolence, right? You're hitting these big auras. You're making, around 10 div in amulet, and this thing drops maybe 4 times out of 5. So you definitely need to do all, no matter what you're doing. Learn how to do it. Look up a guide on YouTube. Switch to a build that can kill him, because yeah, you need to kill this guy. Yeah, every single time. Next up is the Vaal Boss, the Architect. He's definitely A tier, and the reason why is for one reason and one reason alone. He drops the Doriani's Machinarium map. It's the only place in the game you can get it, and a lot of people need it for Atlas completion. So you can usually, and because not that many people delve, it's not really in huge supply. So usually you can ask for about a div to a div and a half, at least right now in Crucible League for these things. And the good news is the boss is super fast to do. He does have an invulnerability phase, which does take some time. But other than that, the boss is a complete joke. If you have a tanky enough character that's got good enough damage, you pretty much just stand there, face tank everything he does. And every single time, it's just a chance of getting a div. So why would you skip it, right? Absolutely go to every architect you see, no doubt about it. Breach, guys, do not do breach nodes. Okay, these things they just scale like complete garbage. You spend time doing them. Even if you spawn a breach boss, you're gonna get like 2 or 3 splinters, right? Do not do breach. Next up, we have chaos items, and actually, while we're at it, I'm just gonna rank all of the elemental nodes at the same time. So we've got cold items, fire items, lightning items, and then also the brine rot versions of them as well. These are really good. These are great nodes to go to, and I think they're probably the most consistently underrated nodes by new delvers, because they go to them once, and they get some items, and sure, it's a terrible base, and it rolled the delve whatever fire mod on it, and the rest is trash, and they go, okay, this just shoots out like a bunch of junk. What's the point? Guys, but you're hunting for these fractures. Good chance of getting fractured mods on these items that drop, and that can make you a lot of money, especially the curse on hit stuff. These things absolutely just unload tons of curse on hit rings on you. And imagine I actually just sold earlier this league for a couple div, just a completely random. It was a topaz ring, not even a good base, but it fractured curse on hit despair, right? Instantly sell it, make a couple div out of it. And I would say that these good fractures, these good rolls, or even just items that have, pretty decent rolls on them plus a good delve mod, you can sell them for, you get a little axe on it, maybe 50C, here, 60C there, it's more consistent than you'd think. Never skip these. You should be doing these every single time you see them without question. Next up is the item node, the generic item node. And I'll just put all the sort of generic nodes at the bottom here. We have the weapons, jewelry, etc. These things usually you just pass through them because you have to. No one, I don't think, is really hunting these down. Obviously, the rewards from these are completely pitiful, no matter what. So obviously, spending time doing these sucks. But the further down you go, the less likely you are to see them and see some of these more juicy nodes. So if you feel like you're seeing too many of these, you know, gear up and get down there. Really. Next up is currency node. Currency node is probably, I'd say B or C. I'm kind of debating between them. I guess it's B tier because you're never unhappy to go through currency node. But the problem with currency nodes, guys, is that the average return on these is not huge. You might make a couple chaos worth of bubblegum currency, which is pretty good, I guess. But a lot of times you have to go out of your way to do these, which is not really worth. Um, yeah, just not really. I mean, right, it's a currency node. Everyone's happy when, there's a chance at a raw div or, anything like that. But it is kind of a big gamble, and I would say you're better off spending more time, delving, horizontally or vertically, kind of moving around the map, kind of hunting for these nodes that are kind of in A tier and S tier. If you can spend most of your time doing A tier and S tier nodes, you're going to be just rolling in cash. So yeah. Next up, we have this node. This is mana and curse items. I'm going to put this in A tier as well. It's a similar situation to the elemental nodes. You hit a good fracture because these things can drop any. These things also drop curse on hit rings, and if you fracture them or something, technically it's worth a lot. It's these honestly, this one's probably less consistent than the elemental nodes, but still definitely worth doing for sure. But you're going to have the most luck, I would say, out of like chaos items, fire items, etc. But still good. Yeah. Essence nodes, guys, do not go to essence nodes. All right, do not do essence nodes. You do them, and you're gonna get a couple, tier 3, tier 4 essences that are worth a total of, less than a chaos, right? And it takes time to do them, and not to mention essence monsters tend to be, pretty challenging as well. So if your build is not really, up to standard, you could find yourself ripping to these things, or really just even, my build. I'm playing Bone Shatter Jug right now, extremely meta build, extremely tanky. I have no problem anywhere, but just killing them. A lot of times they have so much health, it takes forever to kill them, unless you're really a build that's high investment, squeeze out a lot of damage. So really, really bad node, guys. Next up, we have the fossil node. We're going to be mainly talking about the 3 best fossil nodes because every fossil node has a different variety and some of them drop specific fossils. So we're going to be looking at Molten Cavity, Time Lost Cavern, and Humid Fissure. These drop fractured, faceted, and glyphic fossils specifically. Fractured fossils, for example, right now that you find in Humid Fissure, these go for currently about 80 C each. It's about 3 to a divine. And if you go to Humid Fissure, you get a fractured fossil. They're very easy nodes. They don't take a lot of time to do. You just go there, you kill the big unique, and you get 60 C or 70 C, 80 C, how much ever the fossil's worth. These things are all about like 60 C, I'd say. You go there, you kill it, you get 60 C. You go there, you kill it, you get 60 C. So it's easy, consistent money. If you go to these specific fossil nodes, right? Again, Time Lost Cavern, Humid Fissure, and Molten Cavity. You will make so much money, it's not even crazy. This is S tier. This is bread and butter. This is something that you're hunting for always. You always want to do these. Without question. All the other fossil nodes are usually pretty bad. The Abyss one that drops hollow fossils, I mean, these things are usually worth like, what, 15, 20 C? I mean, you can do them if you want, but really you want to be looking for the big 3, I would say. Next up, gem nodes. Gem nodes tend to be pretty bad. They have potential, right? There's always the high roll chance of, oh my god, I dropped like an Enlighten or something, right? I mean, it's always possible. Or, oh, I dropped level 21 gem, corrupted gems, right? Technically, there's potential, but really consistently, you're just going to be seeing complete trash every single time you do it. And usually, you have to kind of path out of your way to get to these, which is also a downside, right? I mean. So it's not good. It's not complete trash tier. Doing them, you're not. If you have to do them, you're not super upset. But really, you don't really want to go to them if possible. Harbingers. Again, this is another node that I would put in F tier if I could. Guys, the Harbingers. I know a lot of people like doing Harbingers in maps, right? But here it's totally not worth it. There's just a big Harbinger portal, and it's like a constant stream of Harbingers coming at you, and they take forever to kind of get through. Because you have to kill one Harbinger's mobs, and then he summons another Harbinger, and it takes forever, right? And at the end of the day, you're going to get 2 Chaos Shards. technically, yes, there's high roll potential, but this one is I would mostly avoid for time reasons. It takes a lot of time compared to other nodes, and the rewards are just pitiful. I would skip Harbinger nodes entirely. Arguably on, tied with Beyond for the worst node in Delve. All right. Next we got Legion. Unfortunately, also another D tier node that you want to skip entirely. Same problem Breach has, just really does not scale super well. You do the node, and you're going to be getting a couple of Legion splinters. That you can't really do anything with anyway. So I'd probably skip this one, guys, and definitely a skip. Map node. This is C tier. Similar problem to gems, I would say. Technically, you can drop Guardian maps and Conqueror maps, right? All sorts of good stuff, but it's not really consistent enough, and you're not even really guaranteed to drop like all T16s from this thing either. It's not, again, there's potential, but there's just nodes that do more consistent profits. I would avoid these. Next up we have this node, which is Minion and Aura items. For me, this is A tier, but definitely still bottom of A tier. You can get some really cool fractures on these things. Like earlier this league, I dropped a helmet that had the +2 aura, +2 to aura gems fractured on it, right? That's insane. Obviously, that's really really good, but I'd still say it's less consistent than a lot of the elemental nodes. But yeah, it's still worth doing. You can still get some cool fractures on it. The problem is that a lot of the minion mods are still really not that promising. Even if you hit a good fracture on them, crafters tend to roll these pretty easily anyway. So I probably wouldn't get your hopes up. Big high roll potential, of course, if you fracture some insane minion mod, tier 1 whatever on the helmet. But I don't know, guys. For me, it's worse than the others. Still worth doing though. Don't get me wrong. Relative to the other nodes, it's not great, but still much better than like currency nodes, gem nodes. I mean, you should always be going to these no matter what. All right. Next up, we have the blue cities. I did this one separately because it's absolutely S tier. Miles better than other cities. For one reason and one reason alone, it's that in blue cities you have a chance at a delve chest that gives you a ton of Azurite, guys. We're talking multiple tier 3 Azurite encounters worth of Azurite. If you convert these straight into small resonators, I mean, you're talking sometimes, if you go deep enough, like a whole div worth of resonators, worth of Azurite. That you get from just one of these chests. It's not in every single city, but the chance for that means these things, you go to them every single time. And just like the other cities, it has the advantage of it does not take a long time to do. You go in, you get your stuff, you get out. Strongboxes. I mean, these are D tier. Unfortunately, Strongboxes. Even if you get a higher tier Strongbox, like you get like the div card Strongbox or currency Strongbox. I mean, these things just scale really bad. Not giving you good rewards. And then obviously Talismans. I mean, Talismans. I don't think anything needs to be said about Talismans. They're really bad. Don't do Talismans. Okay, guys, so that was my 3.21 Path of Exile Crucible Delve node tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed and maybe learned something about, how to make some money doing Delve, a little bit more consistent profit, using Delve at kind of all stages of the league. Please, if you have other tips, tricks to share with myself or other people, please feel free to comment. Comment with these, how to make, big money down in the mines. And, in the meantime, thanks for watching, and let's go back to hunting down all. Have a good one.